My name is Chris Holmstead. I'm a speed skater training at the Olympic Oval in Calgary. Speed skating kind of just seemed like a natural fit for me as I grew up playing hockey, so a lot of translatable skills in there. I actually just recently made the switch into speed skating in January 2020, so it's fairly recently, and it's a pretty new adventure for me here. Yeah, I mean, the stride mechanics are very, very different in the technique and how you skate. I mean, the strength involved in being able to push on hockey skates and being able to push in speed skates is very similar. So that was something that I benefited from. But I mean, from transferring for hockey skates to speed skates was a very, very foreign move for me. And it took a while for me to get comfortable on the different blades and the different rocker and that sort of stuff to really start moving forward and seeing that progression. Yeah, it's definitely been tough with all the restrictions from COVID-19. Unfortunately, I missed the standard for the Olympic trials by about 1 second. So I was fairly close considering how new I am to the sport, but still, a long ways to go to be able to make it to that standard and hopefully make the team one day. But, we've had to make a lot of adjustments without racing now. We've been doing a lot more high volume training, which is hopefully going to pay off when racing comes back around and we're able to get back and put the times down, in a competitive setting. Well, it's funny in speed skating, being an individual sport, your biggest competitor is kind of the clock, where you're racing against yourself when you're out on the ice. Whether it be a race, time trial, or practice, you're kind of just in your own zone trying to improve your own technique and your own skills to be able to go faster. That being said, my teammates are a huge motivator for me. Some days you're not feeling it and they give you a good push to do better or, dig a little deeper to push a little harder. And it's really nice to have that motivation. Yeah, growing up playing hockey, I was always a fairly competitive individual, and I really loved that. Transitioning out of hockey, it was something that I missed a lot. I craved it in a lot of ways, and speed skating has kind of given me that opportunity back to be able to compete at a high level and train at a high level. And I'm just really thankful to be able to have that opportunity again. So it kind of makes it easy to go to the Oval every day and show up and kind of put yourself through that pain. I've always had an interest in bobsled. I'm really excited to watch Team Krebs compete. I think they have a really good opportunity ahead of them, and it's going to be fun to watch. So I was invited to come train at the Olympic Oval here in Calgary back in April 2021. Early in May 2021, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which was a bit of a shock to me at first. I had always considered myself to be a pretty healthy person and didn't really think of that as being a possibility. It's really changed my outlook on how I prepare for training. Eating the same meal 2 days in a row for very similar workouts can affect my body very differently. So I always have to plan to have extra food on hand, make sure that if my blood sugar does start to go low, I'm prepared for it and I can compensate for it without having to miss any of my training, but also not, filling myself so full that I'm feeling sick out on the ice as well. I have to watch the amount of sugar I take into my body, especially before a workout, so that I'm not going too high before the workouts as well, because that can come with a bit of a crash to it as well. And that's obviously not good to have during training. Also, I got to make sure that I'm fueled enough that my blood sugar is not going to drop too low while I'm training, because then my balance goes all wonky. I start to feel dizzy, and I run the risk of passing out, which is obviously not something that my teammates or I or anyone wants to deal with out on the ice there. So it's a fairly serious thing to plan for, and it's not always easy, but it's having all the resources available to me when I am training so that I can know that is really helpful. Well, obviously diet, like I said, is really important to keeping my blood sugar levels stable. The training is a really great thing for me as well. It keeps my body going and functioning well. Mentally, I do a lot of meditation and mindfulness to try and keep my mental health in check. That's something that I've struggled with in the past, and I found that the mindfulness and meditation is really helpful for me in that regard, especially when preparing for a race and there's a lot of anxiety building up about the race. It's really good to just calm my nerves and bring me back to a level state. Absolutely. It can be a bit of an intimidating experience at first. Not really too sure what direction to go, where to be. You know, there's going to be a lot of big changes happening, and it's okay to, you know, feel scared or nervous with it. I know I did for quite a long time. It's not something that's going to come naturally at first, but stick with it and keep pushing through, because there's lots of resources available with referring to doctors to help manage and find your levels, especially related to diabetes. But, you know, use the support systems that you have around you. People want to help you, and just be open with yourself and the people around you about how you're feeling. And, you know, it's okay to take a day off if you're not feeling well. You know, the adjustment for parents with juvenile diabetic children, and, you know, understanding the effect that insulin has of them playing the sport, because it's one thing to be able to, you know, think about it in your own capacity and know when you're going lows because you can feel it in your own body. But, you know, it's a very difficult struggle to see your child doing that and know that, you know, have that uncertainty, I guess. And so another aspect of that I'd love to help is, you know, parents and helping them, you know, comfort them in that their child will be okay in the sport. Different techniques and tactics, how to prevent lows and prepare for that activity as well. So I think that's a very important subject as well. I know one thing that's been really helpful for me has been my Dexcom constant glucose monitor. It allows my parents to see my blood glucose actively all the time from in Ontario while I'm in Calgary training here. So I know that gives them a good peace of mind to be able to see that as well. So, you know, in the middle of an event or whatever, if I start going low, my mom can send me a text, hey, are you okay? Are you eating? Are you taking care of this? That sort of thing. Just an extra peace of mind to, you know, not have that unknown variable in the back of your head while you're competing or doing whatever it is you're doing. Be honest with yourself. Try and understand your limitations and push yourself to your limitations, but try not to go beyond that. Again, use the support systems that you have around you, and it's okay not to feel well and take a day to rest and come back stronger the next day, and just stick with it and keep working hard. It'll pay off in the long run. When I first started speed skating, I met a coach out of Ottawa named Mike Brevet, and he was a huge part of my progression in the beginning. I didn't have long track equipment to start training, so he very generously lent me a pair of blades that I could use on my short track equipment to, you know, get out on the ice in the long track and really experience that. He was also a huge part of me moving to Milwaukee to, you know, train when things got shut down during COVID. He was able to set me up with a program down there to keep training, and that's what ultimately led to me getting into the Opal program and, you know, training out here in Calgary. So without his help, it would have been a very difficult journey. Connor McDavid. Speed skating. Really anything to do with the Arkells. They kind of hold a close place in my heart with my family, so it's always gives me kind of the perfect mix of get me going and calm me down at the same time. Team Canada is looking pretty strong this year. There's going to be some hardware coming home. I think they had take home 30 or more. I'm going to have to say Ritz crackers and peanut butter. Definitely just congratulations for being selected to represent Canada, and good luck to everyone. You know, we're all going to be cheering for you from home here. You're going to kill it, and we'll be very proud of you regardless.